Greetings and welcome to Education in Focus, powered by Chalkboard News. I am Dan McCaleb, Vice President of News and Content at the Franklin News Foundation, publisher of ChalkboardNews.com. Chalkboard is a news website dedicated to issues related to K-12 education. Brendan Clary, Chalkboard's K-12 editor, joins me again today. How are you, Brendan?
I'm doing well, Dan. How about you?
I am doing fine, thank you. We talk quite a bit at both Education in Focus, Brendan, and at chalkboardnews.com about school choice initiatives that are being debated around the country. You wrote recently about what's going on with a specific school choice initiative in Nevada. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so last week there was a large committee, a long committee meeting, I should say. I mean, it was a 12-hour marathon meeting, and I think 6 hours or so of that time, 6 hours or so of that time, I think was around debating what's called the Opportunity Scholarship Program. And basically, the Nevada governor, Joe Lombardo, he said we should fund that with leftover COVID-19 relief funds, right? So we can use this to bolster that program. And there was a lot of debate, as I said, and so that specifically is a need-based scholarship for students whose families live under 300% of the federal poverty line. So that's like a limited number of students in the state, and the way that it works is that students apply to a scholarship grant organization. So this isn't like some other ones. I think the Iowa Department of Education's school choice scholarship, if I understand correctly, they apply directly to the Department of Education website. And so there's not like that intermediary. But in Nevada, you apply to an organization that's approved. And in this case, the largest one, I think, is called AAA Scholarship Foundation, or AAA Scholarship Foundation. And that received a lot of criticism from Democrats on the committee. And that's called the Interim Finance Committee. It's a comprised of some lawmakers from the Senate and some from the Assembly. So that was the program. AAA Scholarship Foundation was criticized because it has money available. The Democrats said it has money already. It's been funded, but the Republicans said, we're not giving students the choice that they deserve, and it's so late in the year as well that some students who thought they were going to get this may not actually, in fact, have the funding that they thought they were going to get. So, that was the back and forth and very sort of high emotion sometimes. Very strong statements made, but the vote went on a partisan basis not to use the COVID money for that. Then recently, Governor Lombardo has said that there's kind of a last-ditch effort to resurrect that scholarship program, and sort of in the short term. So the AAA Scholarship Foundation, the AAA Scholarship Foundation has said, we can cover the students who have applied and for this year, but that doesn't really help them down the road. So that's sort of the short-term sort of kind of quasi-resolution to this complicated sort of issue with the scholarship, the scholarship program for the school choice in Nevada, if that makes sense.
And my understanding is there were about 1,200 or are about 1,200 students, lower income students, in the program, and that they stood to lose these scholarships without this interim fix, but they could stand to lose it long term if there's not a more permanent fix approved by the legislature. And again, these are low income students whose families likely couldn't afford private school tuition on their own, whose parents feel that the local public schools aren't serving their children's needs. So unless there's a long-term fix, there's at least 1,200 students who are going to have to go back to their public school that may not be meeting their needs or whatnot. But I also understand that the 1,200 is just a small number of students who actually want to participate in the program. Is that right?
Yeah, that was my understanding as well. Some lawmakers pointed out that the demand far outweighs the cap that's been placed on that, and that's something that I've talked to with some advocates for school choice who go into the different kinds of school choice models. That there is when there's that sort of discrepancy between like what is the program and how many people can actually access it, right? And so when there are these caps, that's what advocates of school choice say falls short of universal school choice, which is available in some states like Florida, where you can attend any school that you want to with private funds attached. So you can go to a private school, you can go to a private school with public funds essentially, and the money follows the students, and so whatever works best for that family. And so that is the case here, that there is a cap on that, and that it seems like there are more students who want to use it than are currently able to. But there was some back and forth, and I don't know if this made it into the story. There was some back and forth where they realized that there are some bugs in the program that could be fixed, and Republicans were saying that, as well as Democrats, that there were some issues with scholarship, with the scholarship. Opportunity scholarship program, kind of in some of these more technical ways, I think, in terms of like how the funding is processed. And but I think the advocates of school choice would say you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, that this is worth funding, so that students where the one size fits all sort of approach doesn't work, then they have access to these different educational options, right?
Yeah, very similar thing going on in my home state of Illinois, Brendan, where the Invest in Kids scholarship program, which is slightly different than Nevada's, because the Invest in Kids scholarship program is funded by private donations. You get a tax credit if you donate to this scholarship program. Anyway, that's about to expire on December 31st. So students who are currently utilizing the scholarships, and it's low-income students in Illinois, just like you have to meet certain income requirements, just like in Nevada, low-income students who are currently, or the school year that has either already started or is about to start in the next week or two, who are currently in private schools using that scholarship program, are in danger of having to leave their private school that they're currently attending and go back to the public school that for whatever reason their parents decided not to send them to. So this is not exclusive to Nevada. This is occurring in some other states. But Brendan, that is all the time that we have. When it comes to school choice efforts in states across the country, you can read all of that content at chalkboardnews.com. For Brendan Clary, I'm Dan McCaleb. Please subscribe, and thank you for listening.